Good morning, Jim Hammond. Everybody say hi to Jim Hammond. I'm going to do this real quick. Everybody wave to Hammond real quick. Okay, that's good morning to say good morning, Jim. Okay, so there we go, Jim. We miss you, and this is really for you. Okay, so Lori, obviously you're watching this on ProTinkerToys.com. Obviously, I'm not selling toys. I just do this as a disclaimer. I do our Sunday school in our church, and so I do a message for Jim Hammond, really for Jim, but other people watch it too. He's in a nursing home and he can't get to church, so I do this for Jim Hammond. So um, if you don't want to listen to this gospel message, just click it off and everything will be great. If not, listen to it. You might get something out of it, and hopefully you'll be blessed this day. And Lord, we just want to thank you for this wonderful day, this beautiful day, and we just thank you in Jesus' name. Okay, so the golden rule, and I've talked about the golden rule several times, and I want to kind of look at it in a different aspect. Tim and I were watching what was it? It was the wing of a prayer. See, he's kind of wing and a prayer, and it was basically a war. I mean, a typical war film. It was designed for the troops that they're in battle. They're on a carrier. It's about a carrier, and it's really for all the service members that are all over the world. Okay, they're not at home. They're probably sad, maybe some of them, maybe happy, and it's just it was made for them to give them up spirited lift you know morale, the best thing, because I know that, like, when we were on patrol on submarines, especially on the nuclear submarines, we were allowed to get three. We were allowed to, I think it was either 3 or 10 electronic messages we could send out. Okay, and we could receive. Okay, so everybody knew, our parents and our family knew that if you wanted to send a message to them while we're on alert, then here's where you have to send it. And so I was living with Pastor Jeff at the time, and his wife and the girls sent a message to me and all that, and I think Mom sent me one, but that was the only way we could have a communication for 3 months. And we also would have Periscope Liberty, and people, what's Periscope Liberty? Well, it's Liberty is normally in the Navy, or when is that you could go out and to the town and all that kind of stuff. But Periscope Liberty was, well, you could at least look through the periscope and see the sea and everything, and oh wow, that was fun. So anyways, but I wanted to kind of go into the Matthew. Did you understand that, Joanne, or no? You never.
No, I just thought that was amazing. I mean,
What was? Oh.
Yeah, I think that's never would have thought of that.
No, never saw any mermaids. But they're. Let me open up this. Okay, so we had what we called TDU weights. Basically, before we went on patrol, we'd have to load in all this lead. Okay, I mean, they're like round discs like this, and they were about 15 pounds a piece. And then we had these cylinders, basically about this big, and you would put them in this. Basically, they're a trash disposal unit. You'd put them in this round thing, wrap it around. It's kind of like a can, and you'd put the weight in the bottom, and then you'd have to fill this with trash, and then you'd use a hydraulic compressor to keep compressing them. And then when you had that whole cylinder filled, you would cap it, and then you'd load it, and then you'd kind of you'd shoot it. And so in the bottom of the ocean, there are probably maybe 20, 30,000 TDU weight, just these round cylinders of U.S. Garbage. I'm not. That's just an extra story. You guys, I know you like my stories, right, Jim? You like my stories, Jim? I better stand back here. Okay, so, they're just stories of being on submarines, which with all the what? The weight? Yeah, that's what they did. They just basically put them in giant round cylinders and right into the bottom of the ocean. And well, I mean, they're going to be eaten by the algae and everything else. Crabs are going to. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that if it got to the very bottom, you're looking at 2,000 miles. Uh, well, wait a minute, not 2,000. So that's way too many. About what? About 15 miles, I think. By the time it got down that far, but I mean, there's really no air. I mean, it's mostly all crushed, anyways. But whatever could be crushed would have just been pulverized. Um, but that's just kind of that thing about submarine life. But anyways, okay. So in Matthew 7, um, uh, Jesus is, judge not that you will be judged, for with that judgment you judge, you will be judged. Okay, and it's the old saying. Well, Christians like to judge people and everything. Kathy, what are you doing? Okay, well, you're watching me right here. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. So so this whole chapter, Christ is explaining about, judging and the faith and everything. And I've always gone to this, and I quote this a lot, but because I think it's important for people to really distinguish the difference there is out there. Okay. And that what is your mission in life, I guess you could call. What is your calling in life? Okay. And what are you doing in life to help one another? Okay. And because I think that's really what it is helping one another, uh, helping others as much as you can. It might be through financials, it might be through aid, it might be through support. There's so many different other. There's so many ways to help one another, and that's why in the golden rule, it's the golden rule. It says whatever. Okay, what is the definition of whatever? What are the limits of whatever? There's really none, right? Okay. So it says here, it says, therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, okay, do also to them, for this is the law of the prophets. Okay, or the law of God. I mean, this is the greatest commandment. Christ back in John, he was confronted by a scholar, and he said, and he said to Christ, "Is what are the greatest command?" And Christ said, he says, "Well, number one is to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy sight, with all thy mind." What's the second? And it's the same as this. It's loving thy brother as thyself. See, I love my brother as myself. Like he's like part of me. Okay. So it's like so last night it was really funny. Okay. So I just have to tell this story because life is about stories. Okay. So we're having dinner. Okay. And I'm having a hamburger and some chips. And my brother, he's always talking that I'm overeating or that it's all about food and everything. And I'm sitting him eat. He's got his plate filled because Kathy's friend came over and she had this beautiful spaghetti and noodle, and he just had a huge helping of each, and it had a hamburger or a hot dog. and he's eating it. And then I noticed as he's eating, we're talking, he's grabbing more and putting on his plate. And then it, it's just like, but so I was like, I just don't understand it sometimes. But I love my brother as myself. Okay. And that's how we ourselves, okay? What is ourselves? Okay. I always talk about, I've got this workshop that is just filled with stuff. And in 20 years, 30 years from now, that will go to Ryan or Daniel. Well, actually, Daniel's our executor. So it's going to go to Daniel first. He'll go to the children will go to Daniel too. But it's not mine in per se. It's theirs in a sense. I mean, nothing is really ours. Okay, if you really stop and think about it, nothing is really ours. I look at this building that I purchased, this bank and everything, and all the things that were done to make this back in the 1960s. I mean, so whoever invested in this and whoever built this, they're all gone. All that started that is all gone. Okay, and it's funny how life has a tendency to change. Okay, and the contrast is, let's go to Psalms. The contrast to whatever, okay, is in Psalms. Okay, because it says therefore whatever. It doesn't say, well, maybe. Okay, whatever somebody does that you're going to want them to do to you, you better make sure you do to them. Okay, not saying that if somebody does something evil to you that you're going to do the same evil to them. It says whatever you want men to do to you. Okay, do you want a man come up and smack you in the face? No, seriously. Do you want somebody just to come and kick you in the stomach? Do we want that really to happen to us? Well, let's look at Psalms 37. So, Jim, we're jumping to Psalms 37. Okay, Jim? What do you think, Jim? You having fun, Jim? I hear you're going to be going through some therapy. I think Marilyn said maybe you're going to do some therapy. That's great, Jim. Don't forget to do your Bryan Young exercises. That's important. Okay. All right. So in 37:9, okay, it kind of talks about, it says, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those who wait on the Lord shall inherit the earth. Now, before that, so that's the encompass of evildoers and the righteous. Because nowadays, right now, we think, gosh, is anything just right now? You really stop and think about it, okay? I mean, how the China virus, it's like this group, these guys we like to watch sometimes called the Tatum twins. They're both twins, and the Hodge twins. I'm sorry, the Hodge twins. Yeah, they're both twins. The Hodge twins. They what were? Oh, now I just lost my thought, and he doesn't even help me. Yeah, righteousness. Right. Oh yeah, they call it the Chinese virus. Okay, I mean, yeah, but there's so much evil out there, and there's so many so many people are just doing evil against someone else. It's like what, and that's why then I was looking at this movie last night. That's what I was telling Tim throughout the whole movie. I kept telling him, "Boy, this is a war film. I mean, it is just all patriotic." But back then, World War II, 100% of America, maybe less than 5%, maybe you could stretch it to 10% were against the war. But if they wouldn't say it publicly, Okay, because if they did say it publicly, they would just be shunned. Okay, they wouldn't have a career. All right. And they had, like, in this movie, one of the pilots was a movie star. Okay, because everybody in Hollywood wanted to be in the war. Okay, if they could be in the war. Now, some had ailments, some had physical conditions that they couldn't be in the war, so they were. Uh, um, the government said, hey, you know what? You could really help us through these movies. Okay, promoting and uplifting all the sailors and the Marines and everybody else in their war efforts. Okay, they were united. Okay, against a common evil. All right. I mean, the movie, you got to watch it. It's on YouTube. It's free. Just, a wing and a prayer, and you'll see, and then half of it, you say, oh yeah, Brian's right. This is all, uh, but it was an uplifting. It was encouraging people during a time of despair. Okay. None of us were in World War II. We weren't even kids in World War II. Okay. We wouldn't have known it unless you were, gosh, well, you'd have to be in your 80s or 90s. Well, you had to be really in your 90s to really, yeah, gosh, 90s now. I mean, max 94. Okay. So, anyways, it says, because the man who brings wicked schemes to pass cease from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret if only causes harm. All right. For evildoers shall be cut off. Okay. Because there are people out there that just think, I mean, you look at half the movies on TV right now. I'm telling you, they're just pure evil. There's just no goodness in anything, it seems like. Now, that's if you go on the mainstream. Now, you have, like, for example, the one church, the one, um, what's it called? It's the Christian network. I'm trying to think of it. But anyways, and a lot of Hallmark. There's a lot of more things on Hallmark. No, it's going bad too now. Pure Flicks, that's it. Pure Flicks. You're welcome. And there is now a group, and there is an insurgency in Hollywood of a conservative Christian um, movie companies that is slowly percolating up because people want to see, you know, wholesome movies. We were watching this clip about pre code Hollywood, because in the early 1930s there was no code, and you watch some of these flicks, not of them that they were risque or risque or out nudity or anything like that. They just had scenes that were just kind of objectionable. Like one scene they've shown where James Cagney sticks this, remember he sticks the grapefruit in Fay Ray's face. I think it was Fay Ray. I think I don't remember that movie, Public Enemy. He smashes that thing in her face. Well, you couldn't do that nowadays. You couldn't do that to a woman. That just would be politically incorrect. So, uh, what? Yeah. So, the evildoers, and it talks about people that just constantly think of evil. It says throughout Scripture where their plight is. Okay, where their final resting place is. Okay. Indeed, you will look carefully for his place, but it shall be no more. But the meek will inherit the earth. Okay. What is our life? Okay. What is our life really? What is our beginning and what is our end? What is our whole mission in life? Okay. Really? Okay. I mean, and I keep bringing this up, and I get because we didn't need to adopt 4 kids. So here I am 60 years old with 4 new kids, and I'm opening a brand new store. Normally, you do that when you're in your 30s, maybe when you're 40. Okay, But to be doing this, I mean, Tim and I yesterday, he was doing all the hedging outside. It really looks nice. He's got all the shrubbery, shrubbery, um, shrubbery,
That's correct. You're calling it
scrubbery, shrubbery. What movie is it? Shrubbery? Mighty Python and the Holy Grail, I think. So we were just exhausted last night. Okay, we got done. We came back to the house, and Kathy had food, and I just like, because we were just nonstop. He was getting it. It looks beautiful. It's becoming really nice. The new sign looks nice. But so it's, what is my life? Really all this that I'm doing, I'm 60 years old. I've got 20 years of real activity right now. I mean, 60, 70, 80, I'll be 80, I'll be 80, I'll be 72 when David graduates high school. Okay. So, I'll be his age, well, he's 69, I say that he's 70, but he gets upset with me. What are you doing for others? Jim Hammond, are you encouraging people in your nursing home? Are you showing that light that you should show? Okay. Well, I'm sorry about that. But so the workers can go in there. Does that, I'm not going there. So what are you doing for others? The wicked, what, dear? Is that for everybody? You telling us for everybody? The wicked is for himself. So whatever is not for the wicked. The wicked is always for himself. Okay? I mean, you look at going on right now, it's do as I say. I literally, the whole world right now, and especially in America in certain areas, it's do as I say, not as I do. I mean, it is so blatant, okay? When the cameras are off, the masks are off. When the camera is on, the mask is on. I mean, it's so blatant. All you have to do is go watch the videos. So if you're saying that they're important, wear them all the time, 24/7. But don't say to me, and this is, don't say to me to do, and you don't. Okay, so what is our hope? What is our hope? What is the hope? What is our hope? Let me write that. What is our hope? That's a good one. What is our hope? Because whatever, again, in Matthew, in whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them. What are we doing for the lonely or the untrodden, undertrodden? There are so many. And so if we as Christians, okay, we are commissioned to help, okay? And how many Christian hospitals are there in America, would you say? Thousands. When you say thousands, at least, because in the foundation of America and all through the 1800s, there were Christian hospitals set up all over, okay, to help those that are needy. All right, because that was our commission. Okay, what other religion on earth has founded hospitals? I don't know of any. If I'm wrong, please let me know. because we are to, what are we doing for the lonely and the untrodden? Okay. And so what do evildoers say? We'll buy, what was this like 20 years ago? It was like, well, I'm just going to buy the homeless golfing, or they were buying grocery carts for them. Oh, so that's helping them by just buying them a grocery cart? What 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 planet are you on? That's helping them by just buying them a grocery cart? What are you? So that is, or buying them needles and providing them the things that are destroying their lives. That's compassion. I don't see it, because I sure wouldn't want that to be done to me. And those that are doing that surely wouldn't want somebody to do that to them. But that's what they are doing to those, the undertrodden. They kick them. So in Psalms 37:16, a little that a righteous man is better. Just the just the littleness of a righteous man is better than all the wicked have. And I've said this before, okay? The rich has a lot of fear, the fear of losing it. Their greatest fear is losing everything they have. And that's why you hear on these reports, you hear these news stories that all these super rich now are buying islands, they're building their bunkers and all that, because they fear of what they're going to lose. Okay? They fear what they're going to lose. You had some work done to your house, didn't you, soon? That's your little house, right? That's your little sanctuary. And what did you have fixed in it? The roof. She got her roof fixed because that's her little sanctuary. Okay. It might not be a huge, like a house like ours, because we've got 6 kids. Okay. But that's her sanctuary. That's her little home. Okay. A little that a righteous man is better than the evildoers. Now, that's not what it says in evildoers. It says in 16, let's go to that 16. It says, a little that, 16, Psalms 37:16, a little that a righteous man has is better than the riches of many wicked. I mean, look at Epstein Island. Do you want to go into that story right now? I don't want to, but Epstein Island, I mean, it's basically, well, I won't even go there. Okay. I mean, it is amazing. So Kathy, Cindy's little house. So I can imagine. This is what I'm imagining about Kathy's house or Cindy's house. Okay, so she's in her kitchen. Let's just give it any day. Okay, and she's in her cooking mode. Okay, and she's got her maybe apron if she wears one, and she's just got her kitchen oven going and she's mixing up all these cookies and everything and she's just getting things going. I just want to be in there because a little that a righteous man or woman has is better than the wicked, what they have. See, and this is what it's all about, people. Huh? I want to eat the cookies. I want to sit there and have a little taste of the cookies of what Sydney is making. No, I'm serious, but and it goes right back to, I'm sorry for being so redundant, but I think sometimes, that we just really need it. It says, therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, you also do to them. For it is the law and the prophets. because the rich and the wealthy, and that's what I found so funny all through this whole thing, is that the Hollywood was so quiet. Now all of a sudden they're coming out of their cocoons, and what they're saying now is even more bizarre. And I keep telling Tim, and I keep telling people, that the, logic is just not is not it's not engaged right now. I think the logic button on most people has just been disengaged. Okay, because just certain things are just not happening. It's almost like the days of Pharaoh. I'm telling you, with Moses, 9, 10 times he said no, and then he hardened his heart and said, or he said, yeah, go ahead, and then, oh no, you can't. And then the final time he loses everything. He loses his army and everything. You would think they would get it, but they're not. Okay, and that's what God is showing. Okay, that is what God is teaching to us, to have patience, but that we must not become them. That we need to, therefore, whatever you want them do to you, you also do for them. We must not degrade into that. It's hard sometimes, and I'll finish with this. There was one guy when I was on submarine. There was one guy that just constantly bothered me, would constantly challenge my faith. I mean, and I remember I could close my eyes right now. I was going down into the hatch, and he was sitting there, and I said to him, I said, I have told you the truth. I've told you the gospel. Okay. I've told you everything you need to know about God. I'm now washing my hands. It's somebody else's job now to take my mantle and continue what I've told you, because I've done everything I can to show you the truth. Okay. I remember that very vividly. Okay. And that's what we have to do. And another time I was in the laundry room. I think I might have told you I was in the laundry room on the ship, on the sub, and doing my laundry. Okay, yes, we had washers and dryers. Okay, they're no different washers and dryers, the same kind of construction. Now you're saying to me, well, where did where did we get rid of the heat from the? Well, there were several filters. Okay, and we had to clean those constantly. All right, we had to wash them out. So, anyways, so this guy comes in and yells and screams at me, and he was again picking on my Christian faith, and so I kind of screamed and yelled at him, and I'm sitting there, and he leaves and comes back, and he goes, about 20 minutes later, he comes back and goes, Bryan, I just want to tell you I appreciate your faith, because you didn't yell and scream at me, and you didn't swear one time at me. Well, I wouldn't say that I don't swear now, but that I kind of, but that affected him and his faith. Okay. And so it's whatever we want somebody to do something to us, we should also be likewise do to them. Okay. So if somebody thinks it's okay to be slapped in the face every day, he's got issues. Okay. If he likes to be kicked in the stomach or be robbed every day, well, he's got issues. You don't want to be robbed every day, do you? No. Because whatever is the key word. Whatever. There is no limitation to our faith and to what we need to do for one another. And the more we do for one another, I won't say it's always happy, but it really brings joy. Because I can imagine Cindy when she's cooking, you get this joy that I'm going to bring this. This is just, I can imagine. I'd like to do a live video of her cooking in her kitchen. That would just be something posted on YouTube. Maybe she could come viral, all of a sudden teach us how to cook. Let's do it. I mean, it's so amazing. She's got this mixer, this really nice mixer. And you want to get some of her cookies, baby. And Ruth too. I'm just emphasizing Cindy because Cindy, she loves to cook. Okay, and the smell of the kitchen when she's baking and all that together. That's within any kitchen. I know my grandmother Ina. She had the most unique kitchen because the house was really built in the 1800s, and so it really didn't have a formal kitchen. It was just, it had your surrounding cabinets, and then it had the wash basin here with the refrigerator here, and it had a big square table, big table, and right in the middle was an apple cookie jar made from the pottery in town, and that's where all the fig Newtons were whenever we came. She'd always put fig Newtons in it. Remember that, Tim? Did you always eat circular? Was it a circular table? You sure it was circular? Positive. And you do have that cookie jar? And Dixie had up on the farm had a big kitchen. Okay. And her cooking was always amazing. Um, so well, it's already 5 after 10. How time flies. Yes, she did have a rectangular table. Yes, yes, and she froze a lot of food. Well, it's already 5 after 10. We want to thank everybody. I'm sorry. I want to thank everybody for watching our message. It was called Whatever. Um, um, whatever. Actually, it's the golden rule called Whatever, because basically, whatever you do to somebody else, you should expect them to do to you. So, and I do. I do that to my loving brother. I don't believe no, belittle. I don't belittle you, my friend. Well, we hope Jim Hammond has a great week this week. Let's uh, let's do one more wave to Jim Hammond and everybody say goodbye. There's Tim. There's Tim over there, Jim. So everybody is missing you, Jim. We really want you back here. Oh, that's falling over. Good morning, Kathy. Okay, why would you say good morning?
Just saying good morning to Jim.
You just said good morning, dear. Well, I don't really have anything for Brian's brain this morning. Yes, I did all throughout the. I did. Are you belittling me now? Oh, gee. No, we're not off the air. There's only two people, but we had 3 thumbs up, which is nice. But that's good. Jim Hammond's watching at least. I don't really have a Brian's brain again. I haven't been able to think those. I just we were watching last night this movie called Wing and a Prayer, and it's amazing all the infrastructure had to go into World War, especially World War II. All the ships, the logistics. Uh, you know, they basically the movie was basically a semi accurate, but it was basically roughly based on the Battle of Midway. They diverted a carrier to the coral or to the southern part of uh, uh, um, the Indies, okay, to divert the Japanese to thinking that our carriers were spread when it was really a diversion, okay, and so the all the people on the ship were why aren't we fighting? Why are we fighting? Why are we always running away? Well, it was a diversion, and they didn't want the Japanese to know that we were basically we had our other carriers over here ready for Midway. They thought we were maybe spread out, so that's why they went to Midway. It's all loosely based on history, but it really was just showing all the infrastructure. It's just amazing uh, the amount of equipment, manpower, and items it took. It's almost staggering. If I could tell you all, then I'll go into one detail about all the. I mean, we had to hand load It was called what was it called? But literally, so submarines obviously were this. You could only go through a submarine with the hatch, and so we would have like 15 pallets of food. We have to get on board. Well, how do you do that? Well, one at a time. So you'd have 100 guys standing at the pallet, one can at a time.
Wow.
One can at a time. Guy would pass it to him. We'd literally do like this for literally the whole day, almost the whole day,
Good exercise.
just like that. Well, that's why I was 155 pounds through my Navy days. Okay.
To fit through the hatch.
Well, yeah, get to get through that. Now on the Tridents, and I will do. Here's a cool, interesting fact. So on the, uh, isn't that amazing? So here, this is just kind of funny. So this is this was the Ohio class. The Ohio class was the Tridents. Okay, and what they did is they created a hatch. See, normally your hatches are just circular. Okay, well they created a square hatch that would open up, and then they could drop a whole pallet into the submarine. Okay, so this is the so we were on the I was on the Jackson. Okay, and so the submarines. Then you had your missile compartment, which is right here. This is the torpedo room up here. This is where all the communications and everything were right there. And these are the missile tubes. All right, to about here. There's like 8 missile tubes. So I had to walk here. My office, this was the nuclear reactor right here. My office was right here next to the nuclear reactor. But there was a big shielding of water. This was all potable water here. And then you had your engine room right back here. And then the mess hall and everything were underneath here. And that's where the mess hall and then the crew's quarters were right here. But my office was right here because I was a storekeeper. So I gave all the parts to the sub. So that was the missile compartment, control room. These are all the missile tubes. And that's basically the submarine. I don't know if anybody likes that. That's just information. Interesting information. Okay, well, Lord, we just want to thank you for this time of fellowship. We hope that Jim continues to get better. We thank for whatever we can do for somebody else. Let us continue to do whatever it is to help one another and to help you spread your gospel of love, peace, and harmony. We just thank you in Jesus' name. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.